Duel, Sugarland Express, Jaws, 1941, Encounters of the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Empire of the Sun, Lincoln.
Spielberg.
On a Universal Studios tour, 18-year-old Spielberg escaped from the group by hiding in the toilet, just to walk about the place freely. There, he met Chuck Silvers, who appraised his audacity and gave him a 3-day pass after hearing his amusing story. He used it to enter Universal Studios for an entire year. That's the kind of filmmaker he is. Steven Spielberg is most well known for his commercially successful blockbusters, dynamic and emotionally loaded adventure melodramas. Despite that, one unique factor of a Spielberg film is his knack for iconic moments. When you think of sharks, what's the first image that comes to mind? Jaws, dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, Alien, E.T. He is able to breathe life into a story, etching into your memory scenes that can never be forgotten, even for a kid. Steven Spielberg is part of the new Hollywood film movement, and I feel that Spielberg played an arguably important role in revitalizing Hollywood. In the 1940s, the American government passed a law to break up vertically integrated studios. Distributors were prohibited from owning theaters or forcing exhibitors into buying some mediocre film. Weekly cinema attendance plunged from 90 million in 1946 to 17 million in the early 1970s as people turned to other forms of leisure such as television. In hopes for reviving the market, industries created the blockbuster mentality, placing big names behind films, creating huge hype, pumping an enormous amount of production values and state-of-the-art effects. This drew back the audience, revamping Hollywood into what it is today. By 1975, the up-and-coming directors were, surprisingly, not those who climbed the hierarchy of a studio production, but instead, film school graduates. Steven Spielberg was one such director. It was no doubt that his film knowledge played a crucial role in revitalizing the genre of science fiction. Spielberg rebelled against conventional alien invasion stories in his movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. the Extraterrestrial, where he portrayed the aliens as likable creatures. Spielberg did not have an easy life. He was alienated in school because he's a Jew. His parents divorced in 1966, in which Spielberg described as his year of hell on earth. However, instead of letting these experiences crush him, he channeled them positively, which enlarged him as a person and influenced him to make, in my opinion, some of the most magical films of all time. In his commercial adventure blockbusters, Steven Spielberg tends to bring the audience on an epic journey, something people can remember. In the cinematographic aspect, he does this by adding smoke or fog into a lot of his scenes, accompanying them with light streams. Such examples can be seen in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, AI, Jurassic Park, and E.T. He is also very fond of John Williams' scores, which to him rewrite his films musically. Spielberg said that in E.T., he can make the bicycle fly, but it is Williams' music that truly makes them airborne. In many of his films, another clear recurring theme is absent or irresponsible fathers. From Jaws to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., War of the Worlds, it is clear he was deeply affected by the divorce of his parents.
Why you act like such a dick?
Some may argue that Spielberg's films are just big money grabbers, and that he's not a true auteur. But I disagree. While some of his films are much more targeted at the masses from a commercial standpoint, I feel that many of his films have his unique and profound style. Spielberg shoots films based off controversial or even taboo events, like The Color Purple, Amistad, and Schindler's List, the movie which Spielberg took 10 years to mentally prepare himself to make. Spielberg shot Schindler's List not expecting it to make money, but wanted to tell it the way he felt it deserved to be told. In Schindler's List, Spielberg intentionally shoots the oppression of the Jews in black and white, and uses many handheld point-of-view shots of the horrors, creating a documentary-like feel to the story. This reminds the audience that these images are depictions of real events that occurred and are not to be taken lightly. These techniques are very similar to that of Italian neorealism. He cleverly uses the lack of music to bring up tension, not allowing audience to guess what's going to happen next. Despite all the differences between his commercial and artistic filmmaking style, Spielberg has many consistent qualities evident throughout all his films. One of which is Spielberg's invisible long takes. So what? Many directors have this signature long takes too. What makes Spielberg so special? What is especially unique about Spielberg's long takes is that it does not deliberately draw attention to itself. It is motivated and drives the story forward. Many times I've missed these long takes, even on my second or third time watching the film. Also, Spielberg likes shooting through glass and other reflective objects. By doing this, he's able to show you what the character is seeing and his or her reaction at the same time. It is a sleek and efficient way of showing both subjects in the same frame without cutting to another shot, or much camera movement at all. Also, all of Spielberg's films are highly motivated from the idea of an ordinary person who under extreme circumstances emerges as a hero. When you enter the cinema, your audience wants to believe in the world that you created. Spielberg believes in capturing your audience, making sure they do not think of anything else except the film that they're watching until they see the light when they step out of the cinema. It is highly evident in all his films, be it shallow and commercial or serious and profound. They are all very affected by his own unique personal experiences. Take E.T. as an example, a story of an alienated child from a divorced family, battling the rogue waves into adolescence. Incidentally, Spielberg did mention that this story is about how he felt when his parents were divorced.
It's Mexico.
He shot the film without storyboards, as close to his own sensibilities and instincts as he possibly could. He even dressed up as a woman on set during Halloween. He did not want adults to be part of this children's world, his childhood. When Spielberg finally reconciled with his father, the themes of his films also changed. The usual stubborn, rather irresponsible father in War of the Worlds becomes a hero when he was needed most. It feels as though every one of his films tells me a little more about him.